reference to the defund the police, I guess, comment, what we have to realize is that the police is necessary. We have to have law enforcement. I don't know if everyone is saying defund the police and they're saying get rid of police, or if that statement is more of redirect funds. Some people, mean it in different ways. And the way that obviously someone's saying get rid of the police, that's just not an option. Because obviously we know that there's crime and there's criminals and there's people that are going to take advantage of other people. No matter, whether there's an authority figure or not there, people are still going to do those things because there's just a bad element. And then we obviously have good, law-abiding, taxpaying citizens that will be victims of those crimes. So we know that obviously will be an option. As far as redirecting funds, I believe that as far as the police, yes, there has to be a sense of community involved in the police department. If there's no sense of community involvement in the police department, if you're not putting money into the community in order to build those relationships and build that transparency where people are able to understand why police do the things that they do, then yes, they need to redirect some of those funds. So defunding, I don't think is necessarily the option, but or the right thing to do, but it may be just a reappropriation or redirection of funds in an area where the community and the police can become more involved with each other. So having units like our department has a community relations unit that has, I believe, 5 officers in that and a sergeant, and they fall under our special operations. That in itself is, I believe, a reappropriation of funds where you don't just have officers only focused on, let's just say, narcotics or road patrol or K-9 or whatever it is. They're actually putting money into officers going out and meeting with the community. Even us being here tonight, this is, I'm on the clock working here, and I'm here talking with you guys. So that's an appropriation of funds that I could be out on the streets doing something else, but I'm here with you guys. So that's what I believe needs to be done. There just needs to be more transparency, and there has to be more community involvement between the police and the community so that we can all get a better understanding of each other and why things are done the way that they are. And I believe that once we get to that place, then it's easier to, obviously build those relationships.
Any more questions?
If you have like a warrant to search someone's house, but like you go to the wrong house and like what happens if like you go in the wrong house and they report you?
So on the warrant, it has the address, it has the color of the house, it has a description of the house. So, in my opinion, there should be no reason why you're going to the wrong house, because all of those things are listed on that warrant. And then once you go to the residence and you hand a copy of the warrant to the homeowner as well. So while you're searching or whatever, they're able to look at the warrant as well to see that, okay, this is the house that they came for, they're where they're supposed to be. So I don't see why you should be in the wrong house, because it has everything on there. So even if the house doesn't have any numbers, it has the color, description, all these things about the house.
Okay, so what, oh, sorry, I have a question.
Go ahead.
What if you have a warrant, but the resident won't let you in? What do you do? Like, what's the first thing you do? Like, they're not opening the door or letting you come inside the house and check it.
Oh my.
Okay, just talking from my previous experience as a detective, if a person has a warrant, and this is different than obviously a search warrant for a house, it depends a lot on the degree or severity of the crime as to what tools we'll use in order to try to apprehend that person. Obviously, if it's something related to a murder, homicide, something like that, then we may need to call out, let's say, our SWAT team and hostage negotiation, those people, in order to try to get that person to come out of the house, because that person is now a danger to society if they murder somebody. But if it's, let's just say, a simple warrant for traffic, and I knock on the door, and, you know, this person is potentially in this house, and the homeowner is saying, hey, he or she is not here, there will be no reason in that scenario to call out, obviously, a SWAT team or hostage negotiation, because it's just the severity of what we have in front of us. So usually when it's a more serious crime, then we use the different tools that we have in order to apprehend that person, and this always for the safety of the community.
What if the officer refuses to show the homeowner until they gets at the house?
Okay, in reference to a search warrant for residence, again, it depends on the type of crime it is. And if we are, let's say, investigating something that's narcotic related and the officers have this warrant, they may use the SWAT team to go directly into the residence, and there's no knocking on the door or saying, because at that point, if you're giving someone full warning that you're coming in, especially if there's going to be guns and drugs and a criminal element there, you may be putting those officers' lives in jeopardy by knocking on the door of those type of suspects. Versus if it's, you know, again, you know, something related to a traffic offense, and you say, hey, let me knock on the door and see if this person is here to take them in to, you know, see about this traffic warrant. So at that point in time, no, the warrant probably would not be shown to anyone until they're able to calm down that situation, get everybody out of the house, and the individuals that own the house and don't have anything to do with the investigation, they would now be explaining, hey, look, this is why we're here, and this is what's going on. But in a situation, again, where there's a potential that there may be violence towards the police, they have to use the tactics in order to achieve the mission that they're there for.
What are the difference between your badges?
Okay, so I have a silver badge because I'm just a police officer, and okay, I have a police officer. And his badge is gold because he's a sergeant, so you have to be on the force for a certain amount of years, different type of qualifications in order to even apply to become a sergeant. So he's made it there, he applied, and he's a sergeant. And then our detectives, they also have gold badges as well. So if you see a gold badge, it could be because they're a sergeant or a detective. And the stripes. And was it?
The stripes,
That's the years, right?
No.
The rank, the different, it's like the numbers mean different, like different ranks. So it goes up from sergeant, lieutenant, major, so it climbs. So depending on your level, that's the number. Designation first. Yeah.
Where does it show the officer's badge number? Like, isn't it on your badge? Like, where can you see it?
No, well, ours actually doesn't show our badge number, but if someone asks for it, we have to give it to them. So, you don't see it, but someone say, okay, well, Officer Harris, like, give me your badge number, then I'll tell them 585, Officer Harris. Or I write it down for them on the card and hand it to them.
What if the officer, when you ask for the officer's badge number, what if they don't give it to you? Is there something wrong with that?
If they refuse to give it to you, then you just, if there's another officer on scene, try asking that officer, well, what is this officer's name and badge number? Or if there's no one else on scene, you can always ask for a supervisor. If the situation is not going the way that you think it's, that it should be going, you're not happy with how things are going, you can always request a supervisor. So just like if you're in the store, you don't like what the cashier is doing, you ask to the manager, same exact thing.
feel about now because people have tried so much different ways to get like in and out of the world. So how do you feel now about people trying to kill police officers? I'm not saying that's the right way, but how do you feel about that? Like that's what people want to do now. They've tried so much different things and that haven't worked.
I would say violence is obviously never the answer to trying to achieve the problem. So, in the sense of someone making threats to harm officers, honestly, I think that there's obviously a better way. We have to again use that communication. We have to continue to go to our politicians, the people that we elect here at the local level. We got to talk to your commissioners, talk to your mayor of the county, and let them know, hey, these are the things that we're seeing, and these are the things that we want to change. Because these are the people that are being elected, and even as juvenile, as youth, you guys have a strong voice. You guys, if you get together and say, look, this is a social issue that I found in my community, and I want to go before the commissioners in whatever city it is that you live in. The city of Lauderhill is located right here on the city of Lauderhill City Hall is located right here on Oakland Park Boulevard. I believe it's 5581 West Oakland Park Boulevard. You guys can go into these commission meetings that they hold, and I believe they hold two commission meetings per month, and request that, hey, listen, these are issues that we're seeing in our community, and these are things that we want to see change. Also, your parents. Hey, we get together as a group and say, hey, mom, dad, we want you, to know that this is the issue that we see, and we even like for you to, advocate on our behalf. The more people you have, the more stronger the voice that you have. So the way to do it is always through communication, and it's not fast. A lot of times change is very slow. But in order for us to get to where we want to go, we got to keep on pushing, we got to keep on going forward. We can't resort to violence because what is that going to achieve when you kill a police officer?
Nothing.
It's not going to change anything. All it's going to do is basically harden both sides. It's going to make now police officers feel like, hey, there's a threat on our lives. So the way that they look and perceive different things, it's going to be through a different lens. And again, like I said, always take that perspective and look at it from how, if you were in that person's shoes, what would you want to have? So again, communication. I keep saying that tonight because that's what we're doing tonight. We're communicating. You guys are asking questions, and we're here to provide you the best answers that we can. And hopefully these questions that you guys are asking and the answers that you're getting are, giving you the tools that you need to be successful out here when it comes to any encounters with the police. If you're even thinking about becoming a police officer, some of the things that you will need to do to get into the profession. And we need more people like you guys that are out there that are doing the right thing to want to get into this job. That's the only way to really see it change. You got to change it from within. You got to change it from within. So if you are, in a community and you're saying, hey, look, the police department doesn't necessarily look or represent what my community looks like, why not become a police officer? You got to get involved. So, if you want to get on the person and you do the right thing, the best way to do it is from within. From outside, sometimes you feel like people don't hear you, but if you're within, and I saw, Officer Harris doing something or saying something, I could talk to her, and maybe the way that she perceives it from me would be different than from somebody from outside because, we're working together every single day. She knows my character, I know her character. So, just always communication. Yes, sir.
How much trouble does an officer get into if they pull someone off duty?
I couldn't hear you when you said that.
How much trouble does an officer get into if they pull someone off duty?
There's a thing called mutual aid, and in that agreement that we have is between all the police agencies here in Broward County I can speak for. We have to take action, and it's also state statute if there is something that is poses a danger or a risk to the public safety. So if someone's, let's say, driving erratically, and I'm in my police car and I'm off duty, I'm required to carry my firearm, and also required to carry my radio when I'm driving that vehicle. If I decide to pull that person over, I will be in trouble for pulling that person over if they're doing something to endanger the community. Okay? So if you ever saw that, that is probably something very egregious that the person has done, and the officer then will get other officers who are on duty to respond to take care of the issue. But again, it's all about public safety, so it's all about keeping the public safe.
Alright, so when arresting an individual, when exactly do you need them to Miranda arrest?
Okay,
Okay, so what you see on TV is not how it goes. So on TV, as soon as a person is arrested, you hear you have the right to remain silent. That's not how it goes. Depending on the situation, depending on the information that's being given, let's say for instance, there's a person in the stolen vehicle. The passenger, I have the passenger with me, and the passenger is telling me everything that happened. I'm gonna stop that person right there, tell them that I'm gonna read them my Miranda rights, take out my card and read it verbatim from the card, and then let them continue talking. So it all depends on the situation, but it's not always immediate as you see it on TV. As soon as you go in handcuffs, that's not when you read Miranda. It all depends on what information is being given, or if you're being interviewed. Let's say a detective brings you in because they're investigating a case. They're going to read you your Miranda because the information that you're given is to be able to use it if they need to.
Okay, so what happens when the officer doesn't read them the Miranda rights? Like, what are the consequences?
So there's a thing called spontaneous utterance. So what that means is let's say if there's a situation going on, I come on scene and this person is possibly will be under arrest, but they just start talking without me asking them anything. They just start talking, they confess, they do whatever. Then that can be used against them as a form of spontaneous utterance. But then after that, I would still Mirandize them and ask them again. They may choose to say it again, or they may choose to remain silent, but I can still use what they said against them as well to proceed with the arrest.
So why do you guys feel like you have the right to remain silent? Because if I'm with the right, you have the right to remain silent.
You gotta start with what?
Laughing.
Laughing. Well, it's reading me your rights. It's telling you what you have the right to do. So you have the right to speak. You have the right to not speak. If you speak everything that you say, it can be used against you. If you don't speak, then you have the right not to speak. If you choose to not speak, but depending on the evidence that's present, then the rest will still be made. So even if you choose not to speak, based on what's being presented, and the rest can still be made.
Isn't that one of the commandments?
What?
The commandments.
You mean amendment? Amendment to the Constitution.
Alright, yes, the Fifth Amendment, it protects you from, obviously, you don't have to incriminate yourself, you don't have to talk. So that's why the first line of it says that you have the right to remain silent. So that is your right. So these are your constitutional rights that the officer was reading to you to let you know that, hey, you don't have to speak to me, but you are free to if you'd like to. So in a situation where you are under arrest, meaning, you're being either in custody or you're If we come on scene and we have enough evidence, as Officer Harris said before, we can say, look, I don't need to talk to you. I have everything I need. I've already investigated up to this point, and everything leads to you. And whether you talk to me or not, I have enough to make this arrest. However, if I'm reading your rights in the interview room, it's because I want to talk to you about the case, because there may be something that you know about the case that I don't know that could possibly change the outcome of this case. So if you're innocent, I believe that it's in your best interest to explain the situation to the detective or the officer so that they can look at the entire situation. However, most people that don't want to speak sometimes, it may be the reason why they don't want to speak. It's because they think that they may be incriminating themselves, they may be saying something more than what they need to say. But if you're innocent, a lot of times talking not necessarily will get you out of the situation, but it even can change the charge that you're getting, because you may be like, hey, well, this is what his intent was. It wasn't to do this, or her intent. I won't say his, but her is. It could be, you know, what their intent was when the crime was committed. Or it may be some other circumstances to it that, you know, let's say you investigate this entire thing and it's all pointing one way, and you didn't hear this other person's side of it, like, this is what happened to me. So this is why I did X, Y, and Z. So a lot of times they can either change the charge, or even can sometimes prove your innocence. I've had cases when I was a detective where it's convoluted on both sides. Both people are alleging that this happened and that happened, and then as I'm looking at the evidence, I see, yeah, you did do this, but after the person explained it to me, it was the reason why they did it was based on something that may have happened before. I was, you know, obviously privy to that information before the camera started rolling, whatever it is, before the witness told me, you know, what happened. And this is, you know, new information to me. So always, if you're innocent, I say, you know, speak and say your piece. But obviously, if you are at one down the wrong path, you may not want to speak, because it may just intensify what is already, you know, inevitable that, you know, you may get arrested or whatever the case may be.
My question is for Officer Harris. I know you said you was a teacher before you was actually a police officer. What made you change your career?
I love kids. I eventually want to become an SRO. So I left teaching not because of the kids, but because of the adults, the parents. You know, you have the parents that are always, I wouldn't say advocating, but the ones that are always, my kid didn't do this, or my kid didn't do that, or because I always taught at-risk schools, like that's my passion with at-risk kids. So you would have kids who are not doing so well in class. I taught math, middle school math. So you would have kids who didn't do so well, and you're trying to contact these parents to let them know what's going on here or what's going on there, and I can never get in touch with the parents. But then you have the parents that are, now that the kid is failing, receiving D's and F's, now they want to come to you and get upset with you, or they're going to administration and, you know, saying that this teacher didn't do this, or this teacher didn't do that. So I was like, I'm just done with it. So that's why.
But why police officer?
Why police officer? Well, growing up, I always wanted to be a police officer. Math was my passion, and I couldn't decide what I wanted to. I couldn't decide if I wanted to be a teacher, and I couldn't decide if I wanted to be a police officer. But the way life happened, I just went towards teaching, and once I was done with teaching, I just went towards the next thing that I felt was my passion. Because I love my job. Like, I love the kids when I was teaching, but as a police officer, I love doing what I do every day.
What age did you say that you could become a police officer?
19.
Okay.
Question, is it a job that you know, you have to love, or do you have to maintenance? You know, I heard you just said you love your job from a sergeant point of view, because I know like doctors, they have to love what they do, you know, dealing with blood and stuff, but your job is a whole different field, an entire different field. So do you get up every day excited to go to work, sergeant? Because I know you're fresh off the boat, you know, so of course you're gonna get excited about it. It's, you know, this thing is like brand new to you, you know,
get up every single day, and my thing is that I want to help the community. I truly am invested in this community, especially Lauderhill. I actually grew up coming to the city. I grew up in Miami-Dade County, and my mom was actually a Lauderhill police officer when I was a child. So I grew up coming to the city. I fell in love with the city. I actually started working in the city in 2009. I worked in the Parks Department, and I was very involved in the community activities. I actually ran a youth group, just like this group that you guys have here, for the Parks Department for the city of Lauderhill. And I was in the Parks Department for about 7 years. And I always told myself, that I wanted to be involved in law enforcement because it gives you, this position of being a leader in the community. It was always a profession I looked at as one that's respected, and one that, even though it gets hard at times, you know that you can make a difference in someone's life. So I wanted to take it to the next level, and that's why I became a police officer. And the reason why I keep going, I kind of told you guys a little bit about myself in the beginning. The reason why I keep going and trying to push forward is because I want to be that change that I'm telling you guys about. I want to, lead from the front, and the only way to do that is to, continue to improve and grow within the agency. So, someday I hope that, I can sit in front of you guys and possibly be a leader in this city, So, every single day I come to the job with a passion to help people and to help this community grow.
I need a mic. Can't really hear you.
When you was a teacher, did you have a big problem against C's like most parents do? Because C's are average grade.
But you can always do better. So if you're getting the sleep, in my opinion, you're not trying hard enough. Like you can do better. Like don't settle for the sleep. Don't settle for just the bare minimum. Show that you're capable of much more. So let's say you want to go to college after high school. You get in C, if there's only one spot left and two people, they have two applications in front of them, do you think they're gonna go with the kid that has the average grades, or are they gonna go with the kid that shows that they at least pushed it a little bit more and got B's? So you have to think about it that way. Look at your future. It's like a lot of kids, in my opinion, they just look at here and now, but you're going to become adults one day. So if trying a little bit harder is going to help you more, make your adult life a little bit easier, then do it.
Also, do you feel like it's fair for the parents and the teachers sometimes to be a team against the kid?
That is the perfect team, the parent and the teacher.
So thank you so much for all the service that you give to the community. I know it's a hard much life on you guys. But I have a burning question. I know it's scared for the middle schoolers. Is there a policy or procedure in your agency that it takes 20 cop cars to arrest one person in a car? And this is not on TV. This is like real life that I have seen.
Okay. I can tell you from a supervision standpoint why sometimes you may see a lot of police officers when you see one bar. Again, remember we don't always know the situation. Even as a police officer, I'm riding by, let's just say on my day off, I don't know why, this particular person is being stopped by the police. There could be, a reason why this person is being stopped by some of the police in the sense of, let's just say this person committed a serious crime. And we don't know that, hey, this stop that they have, the reason why they have all these cops here is because the person just committed, a homicide, or they committed an armed carjacking, or whatever the case may be, and they just caught up with this person. So a lot of times you'll see, a lot of cop cars behind a particular car, it may be for that reason. And sometimes it may just be that there's nothing going on in the city. I'll just, be honest with you and say that there's nothing going on in the city. And hey, my buddy's out of this traffic stop, I'm just gonna stop there and make sure he's safe. it's very different because it's evolving every day, it's different dynamics. The thing that you have to keep in this job, you have to keep a good sense of humor. You gotta be able to laugh about things, you gotta be able to keep, light because you see so much stuff. So if you let these things that you see really take over you and see some of the bad things out, you'll put a stain on people and you won't be able to walk away from it. So you gotta be able to keep that sense of humor. And a lot of cops, I mean, their sense of humor is out of this world. They make lighthearted of things that the average person would be like, wow, gosh, I can't believe this happened, this and that, whatever. But you gotta keep that, kind of going and flowing in order to really remain sane in some of the stuff that you see. And I can just tell you from personal experience, myself, I grew up in Miami-Dade County and I saw a lot of stuff growing up. And a lot of that stuff, it was hard to see as a young man, but I grew up and I said, hey, I want to do better. I want to, keep going forward in life. I went to college. I went to Florida Atlantic University. I got my bachelor's degree there. I became a police officer. And again, like I said, I invested in this community. I love this community. Love to go out and help people. But then, one night I was on a call where there was, a dead body there. And 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I had to look, and kind of reevaluate my life a little bit. I'm like, hey, I'm a college learned person. Why am I out here at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning standing next to a dead body? So in order to not let that stuff weigh on you, you gotta, keep that lightheartedness. You gotta be able to laugh when it's time to laugh. You gotta enjoy your family. And you just gotta have a love for people. You gotta have a love for people to do this job. You have a question?
Oh, Lord.
8th grade math.
Question about it. 10 green.
Why does the airplanes be flying in the sky when it's police cars?
The airplane that's flying, that's also a police vehicle as well. It's helping us to, let's say, let's go back to the person that I gave a description of. He's now running. The airplane, they can see the areas where we can't see, and they help us to apprehend the subject. Or if there's a missing person, a missing kid, that we put out a description of that person, the